Maya hadn't planned on saying it out loud. They were sitting across from each other in a quiet cafe, steam curling up from their coffee cups, rain tapping softly against the window. It was only their second meeting, but the conversation had been easy, too easy. Ethan had that calm presence, the kind that made people talk more than they meant to. He had just asked about her son. Maya hesitated, then smiled faintly. He's 7, smart, loves dinosaurs. Ethan's face softened. That's awesome. There was no awkward pause, no sudden shift in his tone. Still, Maya felt the familiar tightening in her chest. She'd been here before. The moment when things changed. She took a slow breath. I should probably tell you something else. Ethan leaned back, giving her space. Okay. She stared into her cup. I'm a single mom. He nodded, waiting. Her fingers wrapped tighter around the mug. The words slipped out before she could stop them. Men don't like single moms. She finally looked up, bracing herself for polite discomfort, for excuses about timing or readiness. She was used to it. Some men vanished slowly, others disappeared overnight. But Ethan didn't look away. He didn't frown. Instead, he tilted his head slightly, as if she just said something that genuinely confused him. Who told you that? Maya blinked. Well-experienced society, dating apps, life. He let out a quiet breath, shaking his head. That's not true. She gave a small, tired laugh. It kind of is. Ethan leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. His eyes were steady, serious in a way that caught her off guard. No, he said gently. Some boys don't like single moms, men do. Her heart skipped. She studied his face, searching for sarcasm, for charm, for lines he'd practiced. There was none, just sincerity. You already did the hardest job in the world, he continued. You carried life. You stayed when someone else didn't. You're raising a human being on your own. That doesn't make you less desirable. That makes you strong. Maya swallowed. No one had ever framed it that way. Most people saw baggage. He saw bravery. She felt her eyes burn, and she looked away quickly, embarrassed by the sudden rush of emotion. I'm not looking for someone to save me, she said quietly, or my son. Ethan nodded. Good, because I'm not here to save anyone. He smiled softly. I'm here to walk beside someone. That night, Maya went home with his words echoing in her mind. She tucked her son into bed, kissed his forehead, and sat alone on the couch long after the lights were off. For the first time in years, hope didn't feel dangerous. They took things slow. Ethan never rushed her, never pushed past her boundaries. He didn't show up with grand gestures or dramatic promises. Instead, he showed up consistently. Text messages in the morning, checking in after her long shifts, remembering the small details, how she liked her tea, the way loud crowds made her anxious, her son's obsession with space. When Maya finally introduced Ethan to Noah, she was terrified. She'd built walls for a reason. Noah had already been hurt once, even if he didn't fully understand it yet. Ethan knelt down to Noah's level and asked him about dinosaurs. 2 hours later, they were sprawled on the living room floor building a cardboard rocket ship. Maya watched from the doorway, heart pounding. Ethan didn't try to replace Noah's father. He didn't overstep. He simply existed in Noah's world with patience and kindness. Weeks turned into months. Maya began to relax in ways she hadn't realized. She was tense. But old fears don't disappear quietly. One evening, after Noah had fallen asleep, Maya sat beside Ethan on the couch. The apartment was dim, the TV murmuring in the background. Why are you really here? She asked suddenly. Ethan muted the screen. What do you mean? She twisted her hands together. You don't have kids. You could be dating someone with less complications. He studied her carefully. You think your child is a complication. She hesitated. That's what people make it feel like. Ethan reached for her hand. Maya, he said softly, loving you means loving all of you, including the part of you that became a mother. Her throat tightened. But what about later, she whispered, when things get hard? They will get hard, he replied honestly. That's life. He squeezed her hand. But I don't run when things get hard. That was when she told him everything. The exhaustion, the nights she cried in the shower so Noah wouldn't hear, the way she sometimes felt invisible, the way she carried guilt for not giving her son the family she dreamed of. Ethan didn't interrupt. When she finished, he pulled her into his arms. You didn't fail, he murmured into her hair. You stayed. Maya broke down in his embrace, years of pressure finally finding release. The real test came unexpectedly. Noah got sick one weekend. High fever, non-stop coughing. Maya panicked. She hadn't slept in over 24 hours when Ethan showed up at her door with soup, medicine, and dark circles under his eyes. I told you not to come, she said weakly. I told you I'm not going anywhere. He took Noah to the doctor while Maya filled out paperwork. He held Noah's hand through blood tests. He carried him back to the car when he was too tired to walk. Later that night, while Noah slept peacefully for the first time in days, Maya sat at the kitchen table staring at nothing. Ethan poured her a glass of water and placed it in front of her. You okay? She shook her head. I'm scared, she admitted. Every time someone gets close, I wait for them to leave. Ethan crouched in front of her. Look at me. She did. I'm not here because it's convenient, he said quietly. I'm here because I choose you. Her voice trembled, even with all this. He smiled gently. Especially with all this. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She thought back to that cafe, to her own words. Men don't like single moms. She realized how wrong she had been. Some men didn't want responsibility. Some men didn't want depth. Some men didn't want real life. But the right man. He didn't see a single mom. He saw a woman who loved fiercely. He saw a child who deserved stability. He saw a future worth building. Months later, Noah introduced Ethan at school as my bonus dad. Maya watched Ethan's eyes fill with emotion. That night, as they stood on the balcony under quiet stars, Maya leaned into him. I used to think being a single mom made me unlovable, she whispered. Ethan kissed her temple. It made you powerful. And in that moment, Maya finally understood. She didn't need someone who tolerated her past. She needed someone who honored it. And Ethan did, every single day.